Well, as protesters took to the streets yesterday, the Trade Union Congress was conspicuously quiet, with its president saying it will not join the demonstrations. Well, joining us now in the studio is the president of the TUC, Festus, Osifo. Good to see you, and thanks for your time, as
thank you
always.
So much. Thank you, Suleiman.
Many were surprised, shocked, and not to see you be a part of what they felt was all about the people. What was the reason behind the TUC not being a part of this protest?
Thank you so much, Sulai. In Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, we are an institution, and we take pride in what we do. But although we are not prideful, TUC as an organization, you know, we have organs. We have the National Administrative Council, we have the Central Working Committee, and we have the neck of the TUC as well. So I think let me take some time to delve into clearly some of the things that happen. First, we are not against protest. We are very, you all could recall, I was here, Sulai, you invited me when the NLC president was being brutalized in Imo State. I led the protest. I led the protest to block the airport for several hours. I led a 2 days national strike as well. That was, in fact, the second day was 100% compliant. I led the conversation and I led the strike. But we are an institution that we don't clearly want people to take us for a ride. So let me lay the issues the way they were. You know, so since May 29th, when these challenges came up, so 3 things have happened. So the first time we wanted to go for a protest. So NLC announced a protest without informing us. So when that happened, so we said no, but these issues are issues that affect everybody. Yeah. So we need to come together, sit down and have a conversation. But my national executive members, they were all furious, but I said no, let us join in the protest. So I came in, I told everybody we have to progress. So we moved in. That was the first protest that was held, if you remember very well, in August. Then we got to September. Similar thing happened again. They issued a 2 days warning strike. So when the 2 days warning strike was issued, again, we looked at it, that the first time it happened, this is the second time. So we now said no, we are not taking part in this. So that now led to a conversation. So we had a conversation, a meeting between the leadership of TUC and the leadership of NLC. In that meeting, if I remember vividly, the NLC president was there. 2 of the deputy presidents of NLC, they were also there. The vice president of NLC was also seated there. I was there, my deputies, my general secretary, we were all in that meeting. So in that meeting, we established 2 things. One, communication. Then secondly, mutual respect. So it was established. So after we've established that, we now said moving forward, that issues of mutual concern, that the leadership will first of all come together and meet. Then we can decide what we need to do. We now take it to our organs. Our organs can modify here and there, it's okay. That was option 1. Then the second option, sorry please.
Right, yeah, very
please. The second option was that we would issue of mutual concern. We could have a joint neck meeting to take a joint decision. Then the last one was also that in the long run, we have to sit down together and develop an MOU so that each party we will understand clearly how our relationship was. So that was said. So when the issue of the IMO happened, we activated that. So we had a joint neck meeting. So in that joint neck meeting, I suggested that no, let's have a joint neck meeting. We did that, we reached a solution and we implemented. But in this scenario, if you remember, an ultimatum was first of all issued jointly. It was TUC that suggested 14 days. It's on record that the ultimatum, we should not keep it open-ended, but let us apply dates to it. Because as at that time, federal government has not implemented even literally nothing. So we issued the 14 days ultimatum. So when that ultimatum was issued, then our expectation was that maybe 3 to 4 days to the end of that ultimatum, You watch, you sit down, we'll not review what they have done. We cannot call for a joint NEC meeting where decisions will be taken.
Right.
But unfortunately, our NLC, about say about a week into the life of the ultimatum, so they called for a NEC meeting. And in that NEC meeting, they took a decision. But from the feelers from that NEC, they asked the leadership that you have to reach out to TUC. That was what was said in the NEC.
So very quickly, if I may come in, Mr. Osifo, otherwise we'll not.
Please.
What kind of, what manner of communication? Is it usually verbal before now, or is it in written form in a way that the NLC will inform the TUC, look, this is a plan that we have, can we go ahead, with it in this manner? Is it verbal or is it written? I'd like you to address that.
Yes.
And then the word in the streets, really, a lot of Nigerians are saying this whole idea of not being carried along, it does connote some kind of under the table situation that maybe the TUC has been compromised somewhat.
Yes, people, you reach conclusions based on the information available to you. So for me, for us in TUC, we are not really bothered with that because, like I said, we are institutions that follows processes. Just imagine, for example, last week, the NLC leadership, the president, they had a program in Enugu. So imagine TUC takes a date to carry out an action. Then when you take that date, you will not announce to the whole world. Then you will not tell NLC president that, no, you have to participate in this. Meanwhile, he had a program in Enugu. That is why both parties must always come together. So in that conversation that we had, we did not really define the mode, but what we said was that at the long run, we will not come together and develop an MOU on how we could relate. But specifically, on this particular one, when the NEC took the decision, there ought to be it was also said in the NEC that they should reach out to TUC. TUC is not just me. TUC is us. I'm there, this general, all of us, we are there. So if they had, this was on Friday, remember. The action that was planned was 11 days away, right? So there was no need to have rushed out. After that meeting, what should have been done and what was done in the past was that there will be a reach out. Then once that reach out is done, we will jointly look at the dates. Okay, this date, can we do it on this date? Can we do it? So the modalities and all that will now be planned. Then we will now go to our NEC, go to our organs and inform them that, okay, this is the decision and this is the direction to go.
I'm still wondering how this reach out, how does the reach out happen? You just don't decide whether you're NLC or TUC and just, say we're having a meeting. Right.
Come back, sorry.
I'm trying to find out exactly, figure out how this communication happens. Is it verbal? Is it written?
It could be both.
Otherwise, how does TUC know that the NLC is planning, a protest or a strike or something?
It could be both.
Okay.
It could be both. You could do a written letter. You could also at least place the minimum. You place a call. And so when we noticed that, then that was why we now did a letter of protest to them. That no, this has happened first time, it has happened second time, and this is the third time. This will no longer be a mistake.
But this was in the national interest. Don't you think you could have put whatever your grouse was, on the back burner to address this,
And yes, there are several ways of addressing issues. Let me quickly state something. Today, do you know the reason that PMS price is where it is today? As TUC, protest is okay, it's very good. Strike is very good as well. But there are other ways with which you could also push issues through. The PMS price is where it is today. We will take the pride in that. That is why federal government will come to you and tell you that they are not paying subsidy, because there were some accounting processes that for us in TUC, we suggested to government and they bought it. And that is what they are currently using to ensure that the PMS price is where it is today. So if the interest of the masses is not there, then why should we be able to carry out such research and do such advocacy?
So Festus, what exactly is the racket about between the TUC and the NLC? There must be something happening.
Yes, I think in my view, when you look at it, at a time when I just told you, when what happened to Ajero happened, the NLC president happened in Imo. we worked seamlessly with them, right? We worked seamlessly. Between myself, the deputy presidents of TUC, and my NAC members, we work effectively. When Comrade Ayuba NLC president was there, we interfaced for about 8 months. Within that 8 months that we interfaced, we resolved a lot of issues together. There was 100% communication. There was 100% reach out. I mean, if you can't reach me, my SG is there, my deputy one is there. We have people all about. So we work together effectively. Within the 8 months, there was no crack in any way.
Are you saying there's no rivalry between the NLC and TUC? Because that seems to be the optics that...
but like what I've just told you now, when Ayuba was there, we worked together. There was no rivalry. Right? And in the past as well, there'll be some level of collaboration as well. So clearly, we need, I think, the way out of all this, which we have proposed, is we must develop an MOU. We must develop processes on how to carry, so that one party will not feel undermined. So when we develop this, it will be in clear terms.
Do you feel undermined?
Yes, of course. Not just me, but TUC as an institution, we feel undermined. That no, you cannot. Even your neck reminded you that go and do this first before this. But at the end of the day, you also disregarded. We talked to a lot of people in NLC, so we knew what is happening there. So for us, let us come together, develop an MOU on how to move issues forward. Like as I have said, for us in TUC, our members are facing the hardship. Our members are facing the challenges, and that is why we have carried out some level of research. We came out with about 15-page solutions on what we think could be done in order for us to alleviate the plight that we currently are. And we have
what are the top two? What are the top two of those solutions? And your thoughts on the food stamps that the Senate is calling for?
Yes, one quickly for us. Number one, what we have said is this. Today, everybody, including the central bank governor, he has said that the Naira is undervalued. So for you to know that the currency is undervalued, you have an idea of what the value of that currency should be, correct? So now, the entire institutions, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, even our national financial analysts, they've all pegged the value of dollar at maximum of about 650. That is the value that when you place dollar there, then that is the parity. Yeah. So what we have said is that government, the monetary policy managers, they should not allow dollar to be moving alongside with speculators. You don't do that. Right. So what we have advocated, and they did this between July and October 2023. You know what they did? As at that time, if you watch, the value of Naira to a dollar was around 790. It was pegged for about 3 months. The official rate, it wasn't moving. It was within maybe 3 Naira, 5 Naira. What they did was that they told bank chief executives that any bid above 790 should be rejected. So that was how we maintained that dollar within that range. So the first thing we are advocating is that determine what the true value of Naira is. Then you move it back there. Then when you move it there, you just tell bank chief executive, it's very simple, that any bid above this, above 5% of this threshold should be rejected. Okay. When you do that, subsequently, it could be 6 monthly. You cannot be applying the ratio between US and Nigeria inflation in doing systematic devaluation. And that, if you do that, then investors will have a sense of balance. They will understand that, okay, in the next 6 months, this there are a lot of them, maybe some other time.
But you're somehow difficult to catch. So there'll be some other time.
Yes, there will.
Good.
There will be.
Festus Osifo, would like to thank you for your time, President, Trade Union Congress. Always a delight having you here.